Introducing file and URL field types. In this module, we'll learn about some new field types that have been introduced in SBM 11.2. After completing this module, you should be able to describe file and URL field types, use a file field type on a form, change the attributes of a file field type. We are looking at the workflow for a process app that handles expense reimbursement. Currently, when submitting a request for expense reimbursement, users are required to include a spreadsheet along with the request. This is enforced by requiring the user to attach a file to the item during the initial submit transition. Now, let's see how this appears in the Work Center. Click the New button to submit a new item. This will be a request for expense reimbursement. This submit form doesn't inform us that we need to attach a file. The user has filled in all the required fields, which are indicated by red text, so let's submit the request. But if a file isn't attached, the user finds out from an error message. Now, with SBM 11.2, we have a more elegant solution. Files and URLs can be treated as field types. This means that they adhere to field privileges instead of attachment privileges. They can appear anywhere on a form, not just on the Attachments tab, and they can be tracked and used in reports just like any other field type. Now let's get back to our demo. Instead of requiring a field attachment, let's add a file field to the submit form. To work with data fields, select the Data Design filter. Here's the primary table for expense requests. And to the right, here is the table palette, with new fields available for file and URL. In this demo, we are using the file type. The URL type works in a similar way. Just drag a field type from the palette to the primary table. Let's name this field Expense Report. Now, from the Options tab, we can specify a restriction so that only files with certain file extensions will be accepted. In this case, we only want files in the Excel format. Let's make this a required field. Next, we need to use this field on the forms that the user sees. First, we drag and drop the file field onto our master form for transitions. And then we add the field to our master form for states. Let's perform a quick deploy to the default environment so we can test out our changes. Back in the Work Center, let's submit a request for expense reimbursement. Here's our new field. Users can see that it is required for them to submit an expense report file. Let's add a file to the request item. Aha, did you catch that? We tried to add a file that's not an allowed extension. Let's try it again with a file in the Excel format. There, we have all the required fields. Let's submit the request. The Submit transition completed, and here's the state form that we modified. It now shows our spreadsheet attachment. We can open or save the attachment directly from the item. Now let's close the item. The new item should show up in our dashboard report as soon as we refresh the view. And here is the active request awaiting approval. Finally, let's sign out of the Work Center. Now that you have completed this module, you should be able to describe file and URL field types, use a file field type on a form, change the attributes of a file field type. For more information, visit help.serena.com.